Hello, and welcome back to Healthy Vibrations, a platform that brings together change makers, trailblazers who are here to effectuate our youth. And today we have Austin Tani with us, who's an energy healer. I am big on energy. So I'm glad I could get a hold of Austin to come and speak to our youth. So stay tuned because we're going to hear a whole lot of things on how do we clear stress on a deeper level through energy healing. Now, Austin is he's a registered respiratory therapist for over 12 years. And then he decided to study healing and metaphysics since 2018. He has a wife, 3 kids, and an orange cat. And he's based in Hawaii. Did I get that right, Austin? You're based in Hawaii,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Perfect. And today, his goal and our goal is to get people better. No, is to understand how does Austin get people better without medication or surgeries. And he says that he can actually work with a person who's going into a surgery and through energy healing prevent the surgery from happening. So Austin, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
You are speaking to youth who I think this generation particularly is into energy healing and creating an impact. You
Yeah,
hear
that's
the
great.
word toxic a lot, like from 13-year-olds. Yesterday I was coaching a 13-year-old and she turns around and says, "Oh my God, my school is so toxic." So the word is out there. People understand, this youth understands what toxicity is and how energy healing can help. So Austin, tell us a little bit about yourself. I've given you a brief introduction, but we'd love to hear from you. Give us your background. Tell us how you got into this and why do you do this?
Yeah. Um, so my name is Austin, and I've created my company Bringing Balance Back for a couple of reasons. One would be my dad had lung cancer, and but he never smoked a day in his life. And we tried everything Western medicine had to offer, but eventually he passed away when I was 30 years old, and that put me into a depression. And I didn't understand emotions at that point, so. I started just not wanting to feel that way, right? So, I started looking towards alcohol, substances, just to not get that feeling anymore, right? And I think that's pretty common with people, they want to get away from a feeling, so, they find different things to make them feel
Yeah.
different. So, and then I realized that there was something going on with me because I didn't feel okay naturally. So, I tried again, everything Western medicine had to offer. I tried, counseling, psychology, psychiatry, antidepressants, and none of that stuff really helped me. So I decided I'm gonna start searching on my own. And I was lucky enough to find a couple amazing healers who really had great results with their clients, and just spending a little bit of time with them, I felt better. And then I realized, like, why aren't we doing this, in the hospitals? We should bring this stuff to the hospitals.
Yeah.
There's no pills, there's no medication, there's no surgery, and you feel better. So once I learned how to clear my own emotions and patterns and beliefs, and once I found out what was possible with healing, it wasn't just, feeling bad. It's also you can heal from different diseases or, things going on with your body. And once I found out what was possible, I wanted to give people an alternative to all the pills and medications out there. I wanted to, show people that you can heal. You can heal from a lot of things. I mean, we don't even need to tell our body to heal. It's already trying to heal, right? If I cut my arm, I don't need to tell my arm, hey, heal. It's time to heal. No, it just starts scabbing over, right? And then eventually I forget that cut is there. Our body's always trying to heal. So, but if it was a deeper cut, right, deeper wound, then maybe I need a little intervention, right? So now I need to clean the wound, maybe stitch it up a little bit. But again, my body's trying to heal, so it heal, and eventually I would forget it's there. So same thing with emotional things, right? So if there's a lot of children on here, kids listening to this, teenagers or whatnot, you you probably have a lot of emotions coming up, right? And you're wondering like, how do I deal with all this stuff, these feelings and whatnot? So what I found is a lot of these things, these charges, right, can come from our past, right? We can have these charges created from when we're actually children. Like if we had difficult emotional situations growing up, that would be like a deeper wound on our arm where we need a little intervention. Okay. And that way we can feel normal again or feel good again. Okay. So emotional things are just like physical things where if it's just something, that happens during your day, someone's a little mean to you, and you can be like, oh, maybe they're just having a bad day and brush it off, right? No problem. Your nervous system will heal. But let's say it's a little bit deeper emotional wound, right? Maybe your parents got a divorce at a young age. Maybe your your parents weren't really paying attention to you because they were preoccupied with other things, right? Could be maybe there was a lot of substance or alcohol, or a lot of, violence in the home, right? Those all can add to your nervous system and those things can be triggered. So that's where we need intervention, right? Those are deeper emotional wounds, just like the cut on the arm. But once you clear that stuff out of your nervous system, you can start feeling great again. You can start seeing the world differently. Things don't trigger you, and you can just enjoy life. So that's how I help people. And when I explain this to people that your physical dis-ease and your mental dis-ease come from the same place. It all comes from the same place.
Yeah.
There's no disconnection between mind and body, right? Your body is an extension of your mind. You can even call it your subconscious mind. Your body is your subconscious mind. And all these emotions that we pick up through our life get stored in our body. And what I help people do is realize that connection between their body and mind and how to start releasing the stress from their body, which in turn releases stress from the mind.
Correct. Now I have a bunch of questions coming to my mind, but I'm going to go
Yeah.
slow and I'm going to go in order. So,
Okay.
firstly, we have a lot of our youth over here who are probably listening to this. You mentioned childhood trauma. So, if somebody came to you with childhood trauma, let's say at an age of 20, 22, how long do you think it takes through energy healing to clear that childhood trauma?
So it's a good question. It really depends. How long was the trauma? How deep was the wound? How much do we have to unwind, right? But what I'm noticing is within 2 sessions, we can have leaps and gains from how you feel with that childhood trauma. And within maybe a 75 and a 1 hour session, we can clear a lot of stuff up. So what happens is your nervous system is overloaded, right? With all this stuff, right? With this trauma from your past. And then you easily get triggered, right? And usually people with a lot of emotional distress in their body or feeling, a certain way, they're either really angry or they're really sad, right? You notice people are really depressed or they're really angry, and they'll be very reactive in one way or another, right? And that's how you know somebody's carrying a lot, where you say something that where you didn't even mean to be mean or anything, and it just comes out, something comes out, and you're like, whoa, where did that come from, right? That is that part of them looking to be healed, right? That reaction. So once we can clear what happened in the past and out of the nervous system, the nervous system can regulate. And then when those things happen in the future, it won't feel as big because your nervous system is clear again.
And you have to continuously do it. I mean, after you've done it once, then if you continuously do it, because I believe everybody should do energy healing at least once a month because we accumulate baggage in layers, right?
Right. So I have a lot of clients that see me monthly. And usually what happens is in the first, few sessions, we clear up all the stuff from their past. So, all the inner child stuff they might have picked up. That's the big stuff usually because that was like years ago and they're still carrying it in the nervous system. A good way to check in on if you need to do any kind of inner child work is just think of a memory in the past that was stressful. You could go all the way back to ages, that you can remember, like 4 to 7-ish. And if you feel a negative sensation in the body, a tightness, a heaviness, a pain, a discomfort somewhere in your body, just by thinking about that, that means that needs to be released out of you, if that makes
Now
sense.
that I can swear because I did one session with Austin and I could feel it in my feet. And
Yep.
he cleared it. He cleared it, and I could see the difference in how my feet felt that very minute and the next day. So yes, it definitely works.
Right. So,
So now we have a lot of youth out there who struggle with anxiety, which is a big one nowadays, and that's primarily due to social media. And you can't blame the generation; they've grown up with the phone. They don't know anything else now. But that also has its pros and cons, and it does give a lot of anxiety. So, how do you think it can help with releasing anxiety?
Yeah, so anxiety is really common. It's anxiety can is usually not feeling the emotion you're supposed to feel. You're like blocking that emotion that you're supposed to feel. So, um, what I do with anxiety is I find the belief causing that trigger feeling that you don't want to feel, right? So once you clear that belief, then that anxiety will not be triggered because you've processed that other emotion under it that you're not letting yourself feel. So a good example would be like really common beliefs that I see in people is I'm just not good enough, right? I'm inadequate. I'm unworthy. I don't deserve it, right? These are all very common beliefs that I see in people, especially probably, kids growing up, right? And you create these beliefs by thoughts concentrated upon or feelings concentrated upon, turn into concepts or beliefs in your body. The charge is created. So I'll give you a good example. So if let's say you're in PE class, right? Maybe you're not the fastest in your class, right? Maybe you're almost at the end of your class for some, whatever exercise they're doing. You might think about that. Oh, I'm just not as fast as these other kids, right? And then you think about it more, and then you create a charge around the idea of I'm just not good enough. But it's not part of your identity. You've just created a charge on an idea about yourself, right? So when you think about it, it's just a feeling that you picked up and you think is part of you, but it's not part of your true identity. It's just an outfit you decided to pick up. Okay? So that's where I help people. These outfits you pick up, either in elementary, from your parents, middle school, wherever, teachers, whatever, about yourself that you think is true are usually not, especially if they're negative. I see it's kind of like, when you have a computer, right? When the computer has been living long enough, you're going to pick up some viruses, malware, spyware. It's going to start slowing it down, right? That's kind of like negative beliefs about yourself. Okay. You also have positive beliefs about yourself, right? Maybe we can say that's more like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, right? Where you can just open up that and then it'll give you some positive stuff, right? So these beliefs that we pick up about ourselves are not really true. So when you're born, you got no beliefs about yourself, right? They call it the infinite I am, right? Yeah, you don't think you're not good enough when you're born. You're just born. You're just there, right? But then we're growing up, we're having experiences, our parents, teachers, friends, or whatever. Then it turns into, oh, I am this, I am that, I am good, I am bad, blah, 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 right? But when you think about those negative beliefs, where do they come from, right? What was the experience that created that belief? And guess what? It's not true. It's just a feeling. There is no measurement for good enough. There's no measurement for not good enough, right? It's just a feeling. So once you learn how to release that feeling, then you can feel normal again. You can be back to your true identity, which is that infinite being.
So when you come in and you heal because the body, as you said, is ready to heal, right? So is ready to let go of that belief. Uh, so you wipe out the old belief system and you take them back to their original self.
Right,
Is that right?
right.
And you
Yep,
raise their vibration.
right. So if you think about it this way, like your anxiety, when does it get triggered, right? Probably before you have to do a presentation, right? Or if you're gonna have to meet a certain group of people, maybe, or a teacher that you didn't like, right? So what happens once you clear that feeling, right? Then the anxiety just kind of goes away. So, and that's just how we work.
Brilliant.
That's just how we
Oh,
work.
brilliant. Brilliant. That can really work with our youth. So everybody listening to this, I think Austin's based in Hawaii. I think he's amazing. And every youth should try the energy healing session because the one thing that we all struggle with is anxiety, and it really stops us from stepping up and stepping into our full potential. So try it. Now, can you give us a real life story, Austin, on how you can help our youth in who are struggling with relationships? Because you often hear that relationships are very toxic, people are very toxic, and in general, people are struggling with relationships. So, what can you tell our youth on how to manage these relationships? How can they better it, and how can you help them heal it? Heal it.
Yeah. So, there's all different kinds of relationships, right? Relationships with your parents, relationships with a girl or a boy, relationships with your teacher. And, all these relationships, start from yourself, right? So we need to have a good relationship with ourselves. That's the big thing. And a lot of times, we don't have good relationships with other people is because we're carrying some outfits, right? About ourselves.
Correct.
So
Correct.
maybe, you feel unworthy to, talk to somebody, or maybe you feel like I don't deserve to talk to this group of people, or, whatever that feeling may be. Once you start clearing those feelings and you're back to your true self, relationships become easier, right? You're able to be yourself. And that's really important. A lot of people are trying to be something that they're not, right? They see on TV, they want to be this, they want to be that. But at our core being, our true identity is very, very peaceful, very joyful, and very confident. And a lot of people kind of almost fake it, but underneath they're not
Close.
feeling that way, right? They're trying to mask the feeling that they have underneath, and that's incongruence, right? So incongruence really shows when you're trying to have a relationship with somebody, right? If you're incongruent with them, they're not gonna feel right, hanging out with you because they feel like, who is this? Like, what is this mask that I'm talking to, right? But once you clear out those things that you're not and you feel congruent and just naturally confident and you're talking to people, they'll be like, oh, this person feels more genuine, right? And then you can have a good relationship, you know? And then who to connect to and who not to connect to because you don't want to be connected to a bunch of masks, right? You want to have genuine connections with people and great relationships. So, the way I help people have good relationships is first, have a good relationship with themselves. Know that they can feel good without anything on the outside. They can just feel good naturally.
So I love the way you described it. I love the analogies that you give, the masks and the outfits that we wear. So this is all interrelated. As you work with anxiety, as you work with relationships, you help youth realize who they are, what they're worth, help them get rid of these outfits that they've been wearing so they can be more authentic and form authentic relationships.
Yes.
Now, tell us about confidence. How can you help them with confidence?
Confidence. So confidence is, really big as, when you're growing up, of course. I remember, I had bouts of, being unconfident and confident, kind of depending, it usually would be depend on my experience, right? So if I'm doing well in a sport, I feel very confident, right? If I'm not doing well in class, I feel very unconfident, right? Because I'm letting that external dictate how I feel. But for confidence, in our natural state as human beings, we're very peaceful, very confident, and very loving. So confidence doesn't need to come from something outside of you. It's
Correct.
something that you naturally feel. So once you take off all the outfits of who you're not, you become confident naturally. And I've seen that again and again and again and again where once we cleared all those feelings, oh, I don't feel safe, I have fear of this, I'm gonna worry, all these stuff comes up, comes out, and then usually my clients are like, oh my gosh, I feel joy. Where's this coming from? I feel I feel strength, I feel peace. And I tell them, guess what? That's your true identity. That's how you should feel naturally. You just had a lot of outfits on. We just gotta take those outfits off.
Now, I know you mentioned in the beginning that you help people with before they go into surgeries and medicine and all of that. Give us a real life example of someone that you've helped who had to go into a major surgery or had a major ailment and how you got them out of it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of different things that comes to mind, but one that came to mind when you said surgery was I had a client who had a pinched nerve in their neck. Okay. And I went to the doctor. The doctor said, "Oh, you got to go see a neurologist. This is very close to your spine." So they sent them to a neurologist, which is, the brain and spine doc. And the neurologist said, "Oh, we need to do surgery. It could impede your spine. Could cause issues. So we got to cut into your body and take out whatever's blocking it. And then, that's your only option that you have." So this gentleman came to me because he heard that I do some healing work. And all we did was clear the emotion that was trapped in his neck. So I had him connect to his neck. So I don't heal anybody. I teach people how to heal themselves, by the way. So I had him connect to his neck. So he felt connected to his neck, felt into it. And then we just started releasing, 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 releasing. In about 15 minutes, he had full range of motion, no pain in his neck.
Oh, wow.
So,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, I didn't touch him. I just showed him how to release this emotional, mental stress from his body. That's all we did. We just released for about 50 minutes, and I'm
And he
sure
had
his
full motion in
neurologist
his
was
neck. Wow.
full range of motion, no
You're
pain.
gonna put the doctors and medicine out of business very soon. Do you do you connect with hospitals? I mean, I don't know if energy work has gone that far, but it would be good to connect with hospitals, right? And doctors.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if they'll
yeah,
be your best friends.
right, right. So, I mean, there is a place, for Western medicine, so, if you break a bone, please, go to the ER, get it set, put a cast on it, let it heal. But for a lot of the chronic things, I think energy healing can really help people, avoid a lot of things like, dysfunction, disease in the body before it happens, right? So um, we have this nerve in our body. It's called the vagus nerve, right? It comes out off
Correct,
the top of our
correct.
spine, comes behind the oral
Yes.
pharynx, touches every single organ on the way down, right? And the interesting thing about this nerve is it's touching every single organ, right? And that's your main stress pattern nerve. So stress can cause any organ to start feeling, right? Because you're not having that correct nerve flow to that organ or whatnot. And also, I tell you, interesting thing, the nerves behind the oral pharynx, right? From the vagus nerve, if you look at a picture, if you want to look it up, there's a bunch of nerves that come behind the voice box. And you probably heard, religious people or, different spiritual things do long hums like Om and stuff, right? They're not just making the sound for fun, they're actually giving themselves an inner massage. So if you guys want to do some humming sometime, it'll kind of clear your vagus nerve.
The
So, just
chanting and stuff. I mean, we do Om. I'm a yoga practitioner, so we do Om after every yoga session. And I also have an Om tattoo, by the way. But yes, the chanting. Like a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people chant, and that's really massaging your own. Excellent. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
beautiful, right? Oh, this is so amazing. I can go on, and I'm going to have a session myself with Austin. So everybody listening to it, go ahead. And if you're really struggling with something, um, look into energy healing. It's real. And we have Austin, who's actually studied medicine and then got into healing. So, yes, it can really help. Now, closing question, Austin: how can it help our youth from from deciding what they want to do? Can if it can? Like a lot of children, a lot of youth struggle with which direction do we want to go in? What do we want to do in our future? Like they're confused. Do you think it
Right.
can help with that?
Yes, yes. So I do think it can help with that. So there's a lot of different, feelings that we get, when we think about certain things about our future. Sometimes, just the uncertainty itself, right? It's like, I don't know, I don't know what I want to do. Um, when you do energy healing and you start clearing these negative beliefs about yourself, right? It'll give you a lot more clarity on what you want to do. And then you'll realize that, stuff that you want to do, just try it out. Just get your feet wet. Go and do it. Make some mistakes. Go live, right? And that's what
Because
this
it
life is
gives you
about. You don't need to,
confidence.
right. So you have a confidence, a natural confidence to go out there, get yourself out there and just try things because you never know until you try, just like food, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
then you'll find, what you kind of want to do in life or how you want to serve because all jobs is some kind of service. And you got to think of it like that. So if once you choose what kind of service you want to bring the world and you really enjoy it, then, life becomes fun. It becomes fun. You don't need to become, a lawyer, a doctor, what a lot of people just tell you should be because it makes a lot of money. You can make a lot of money doing something you enjoy. You can do something that you enjoy. So
So this
if
is
you like
all
working
interlinked. This is all interlinked, right? It's you get rid
everything,
of your anxiety, you get rid of all the outfits, all your belief systems, you get rid of your depression and your, childhood trauma, and all of a sudden there's clarity, and you know what you want, and you know what can make you money and have fun. So
yeah,
this is, and I'm sure it's very gratifying, right? For you, it's very gratifying to help people um, recognize who they are
yeah.
through the healing process.
It's really wonderful, when their true self emerges, and then they realize, wow, all those feelings weren't me. They were just outfits that I picked up in life, and I can feel good. My body can function great all the time. I can have this mental clarity. I can learn new things. These things, these thoughts and feelings aren't holding me back from having great relationships. It's not holding me back from doing great in school. It's not holding me back from working on my body or whatever it may be that you want to achieve. And I really hope that this work that I'm doing kind of gets out there. I'm gonna put together some classes, some courses so other people can really understand this stuff and really help people start taking off those outfits who they're not.
Absolutely. Let us know about the courses and that you put together. I'm sure our youth would be interested because this generation, and I study this generation, they're all about creating an impact, creating change. So, and working on themselves.
Yeah.
It's sad that they struggle with a whole lot of anxiety because of social media and all the technology that's around us, but they're definitely more willing to look at themselves a little more authentically.
Oh, can I share one more thing with the youth?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I just wanted to share something a little bit about social media because it's very popular, right? So social media I think is great. There is some positive things to it, but there's one thing that kind of bothers me, and I'm afraid for my kids as they're growing up about social media. So the one thing that bothers me is when you're scrolling through your reel or whatnot, you see all your friends and whatnot, and they always post the things that they're doing, the things that are really fun the great food they're eating, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is you turn into this, oh, I wish I was doing that. I wish I was doing that. I wish I was doing that. And what happens is it makes you feel very small. It makes you feel like you're lacking things in your life, right? So in order to get out of that lack feeling, you need to start looking towards gratitude. Look in your
Yes.
life, what do I have? I have a roof over my head. I have food to eat every day. I have parents that care for me and look at all the things you have. And what happens there is it puts you in a state of gratitude. And your brain, whatever you feed it, it will start filtering for that. So just remember that. Whatever you feed your brain, it'll start filtering for that. So if you're feeding your brain all the things that you have, you will feel abundant, right? You'll feel like, wow, look at all this stuff I have and everything extra will feel like, wow I'm getting even more out of this beautiful life, right? So kind of catch yourself if you feel like, oh, I wish, I wish, I wish, because what you're training your brain is to see more of what I wish I could have, right? And that feels
Yes.
very small. It's not a great place to be. So shift that. Look at for the things that you're grateful for in your life. And then your brain will start being
Absolutely.
like, look at this, I have that. So just
Absolutely. Absolutely.
keep that in mind.
Gratitude turns what you have into enough. Won't come from a place of scarcity, you will come from a place of abundance and you'll start attracting more. So think about what you have. Like Austin said, that's so well said, Austin. Think of what you have. Be grateful for what you have. Wake up every morning and just be grateful, and you'll see your day will go completely different. And you'll attract more opportunities. You'll open up more. Your vibration will increase. So, yes. Thank you,
Yeah.
Austin. I could go on talking to you about it, but in the interest of time, I do have to stop. But thank you for being with us. It was a great pleasure to have you. And I'm sure with this podcast, a lot of youth listening to it, I do hope reach out to Austin. And he does do sessions from Hawaii. They're online. You don't have to go anywhere. You just have to be in front of your computer. So reach out to him, and I will put his coordinates and his social media on the podcast. Lovely having you, Austin. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.